We've got all the equipment for Victory 4x4 installed on the truck, the sliders, the skids, and the bumper. We've got Cooper ST Max installed on AEV Crestone wheels on all four corners of the truck, and now we're getting gears installed.
This episode of Mountain State Overland is presented by OK 4-Wheel Drive, serving four-wheel drive enthusiasts since 1979. Midland USA, pioneering two-way radio technology for over 50 years. And Bilstein, revolutionizing dampening technology for over 60 years.
Although the 3.5-liter V6 has sufficient power, it's almost impossible to hit the power band when you install taller tires. Thus, re-gearing is so important to bring those RPMs back up. So I did some calculations to help make a little bit of sense out of all of this. The stock Tacoma has 391 gears, and on the stock tires, it turns at around 1,750 RPM at 70 mile an hour in 6th gear. So if I put 34-inch tires on 391s, it's gonna bring my RPMs down to like 1,500 at 70 miles per hour in 6th gear. So if we install 488s, it's gonna bring our RPMs back up to 1,900 on 34-inch tires at 70 mile an hour in 6th gear. So in the end, we're getting taller tires, we're installing 488 gears to get our RPMs back up and get us access to the power that we need. Okay, I'm gonna pull this thing down. We're gonna have these on long enough today and it's gonna be hot. We need to put some weight in the truck, and I think it's time to install the Alu-Cab Canopy camper, so let's do it. The truck's looking great. We've got the suspension installed, the tires, the sliders, the skids, done some electrical stuff under the hood, and now we're gonna put some weight on this truck, and we're gonna put an Alu-Cab Canopy camper on. What's the first thing we're gonna do?
We're gonna remove the tailgate, which will give us room to put our filler kit in the back. And then once we have the filler kit in the back, we'll head back to the warehouse and drop the camper on.
Okay, let's do it. So some general pieces. We're gonna disconnect the camera right now, but we're gonna be putting another camera in from Rostro Precision Controls on the back of the camper. So this truck has the bird's eye view technology and safety features. And that's why we didn't put a rear bumper on, because we want to keep the safety features intact. And we want to make sure the camera is in the right place. But we're going to disconnect it, and the Rostro camera actually is a plug-and-play solution. Yep. This is going to be the last bit of time that we're going to be spinning up with OK 4-Wheel Drive, installing the Canopy camper, doing a little bit of electrical stuff. We still have goose gear stuff on a truck on its way over here, but we do have a goose gear electrical panel that we're going to be building. AJ's going to be working on this side project. So to get started, what we did is we kind of mapped things out how we want them, and then laid out what the front of the display is going to look like. So I'll show you as I take this stuff off. If I take away the things that are going to be on the back side, this is kind of what it's going to look like on the front. So we've got two USB plugs here, temperature, we've got charge controller status, we've got our switches, and we got our breaker.
So what's cool about this is with these goose gear panels that they made for the Canopy campers is it's nice Line-X finish, but it's a wood board that we can pretty much customize. So with the blue C, like the circuit breaker board for all the switches, for all the stuff we're gonna put that right here, like Jason showed earlier. So right now we're just laying out our template for the blue C, the circuit breaker board. So we got some pre-holes drilled. We'll do the jigsaw for that, and then we'll take the other drill bits and put on all the battery monitors and everything else. So pretty cool system for DIY electronics for your camper.
We are going to install the rear panel first. That allows our filler plates to go in.
Okay.
Bolt into our removed tow hooks, and then these two 10mm locations on each side. And then optionally, there's a hole right under this in the frame that you can drill and put another bolt if you're going to be using your camera pretty hard. Once this plate's in, we'll bolt our side filler kits. These allow you to still get to your tail light bolts, so you can take out your tail lights to change the bulbs. Otherwise, you'd have to pull a whole filler kit. And then these three 8mm bolts will allow us to bolt in our lower door frame.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, you can do it as a no drill.
I think we drill it.
For how, you're using the truck.
Yeah, I think we need to drill it. Yeah, absolutely. I need to just be. Oh. The base plate for the rear mount kit for the Alu-Cab Canopy camper is installed. We did opt to drill through the bed here to kind of stabilize things a little bit more, because we're pretty hard on our equipment and we want to take an extra step to make sure that everything stays in place. But now we're going to put in the filler plates.
So rear filler is bolted in, rear blockout panels are in, so we're ready for camper. Basically we'll bolt the lower door frame in back in the warehouse. That part is in the camper box, and then the camper is ready to be sat on.
You think we should just take it back to the warehouse and finish it up?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We're ready.
The Canopy camper is fixed. Sure, you can take it off if you want to, but it's designed to live on the vehicle, okay? The Kaya camper would slide in and slide out, but you lost use of some of the small pocket spaces that you now have access to in the Canopy camper. The Canopy camper is a little bit lighter, but gives us a lot of flexibility to make changes and customize and install all sorts of fun stuff we'll get into later. I'm just here for compelling video.
Man in a mask with a knife.
We gonna have some pizza today? Is that what you were saying? Pizza?
I like pizza.
I like pizza. I think pizza works pretty good.
Got a white Hawaiian with bacon.
So they packaged this pretty good. Like Alu-Cab, shipping this over, quality control.
It's important. I mean, because to get something from one half of the world to the other, and then shipping it LTL is not easy. So yeah, they actually stack too high in the container, and there's a steel frame that we build that goes around these, which are out back, just to get them in the container double. And then once they're here, we actually put another pallet that we get made under these so that we can ship them to dealers and customers, just to further protect it, because nobody wants to wait a couple months for a camper just to get it damaged from shipping.
Do you experience much product loss?
Not really. I mean, I think we're the only company that actually boxes their campers when they ship them. Like, I mean, if you look at most of them, they're just on flatbeds. So, I mean, we actually box them. Everything comes foam wrapped. You can kind of see it here. I mean, it's fully protected. So when you're getting to the customer, you know, you have the camper in one piece.
Wow, yeah.
So yeah, this is the Sunflare 180 watt panel. We first came in contact with them about 2 years ago, seeing some of their products, and it's a perfect fit for what we're doing. The nice part is they're super thin. You can actually walk on them, so they're pretty much indestructible.
Wow.
And this panel, for instance, is 180 watts.
Oh,
so
yeah.
More than enough to run your whole camper. And with the solar pre-wire on the Alu-Cab campers, we can actually just plug them right into the camper, which terminates into the camper's harness.
Which is already pre-wired on the camper.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll basically, that board that AJ's building, we'll plug your solar in, you have your USB lights and your little reading lights, and then also your third brake light. So we'll prep this with alcohol, and then we'll actually use Sikaflex
Okay.
to glue it down. And then we'll also mark it out for our location, and we'll run 2 load bars. So we'll have a load bar in front of it and a load bar behind it, so it can work with boats.
Yeah, kayaks can use, yeah, definitely.
Yep. It also helps hide our wiring from branches.
So a solar panel is just gonna get straight up hot. How is that gonna impact the camper at all, or is it?
No, not at all. So that's kind of why these have a bluish tint. They're a little bit more resistant to being heat sensitive. And they're also, for shading, they have bypass diodes between each cell. So if you cover one of the cells, or if you cover half the solar panel, it's not going to wipe out the whole solar panel as far as output. It's only going to take out those cells that are actually shaded.
Okay. So why 180 watts with this system that we're installing?
Because you're running 2 fridges.
Yeah.
I mean, we have them in 125, 126, and 180. Typically, we'll have customers that do like a 105 or a 126. My truck, I have 2 of the 105s, just to have a little bit extra power. But a 180 will be more than enough to outrun 2 fridges.
All right, let's get this thing prepped and installed.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And we'll square this up.
Yeah, I'm there.
Cool. So we'll start to roll it back, like kind of roll it like a circle.
Okay.
And you're square on your checker?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
And I'll hold the ends.
Yep.
This couldn't be even easier.
No. And then it's already wired. So I mean, installing a solar panel instead of drilling holes through your new camper and taking a day takes 30 minutes. So we're just installing the solar wiring and the load bars on top of the camper. We'll get this plugged in, And next step is putting the camper on the truck. So, I mean, we're almost there. And probably about an hour or two from now, we'll have the camper wrapped up.
Jason.
Hey,
I've been good.
Good. We're here at OK Four Wheel Drive trying to wrap up the build. How's everything up in Michigan?
We're back up to full production and pushing parts out the door, and it's a good feeling.
Really enjoyed watching your videos on YouTube and kind of guiding us through the build. People are going to get enough hearing us talk about installing this equipment. So let's talk about what inspired the design.
Sure. So obviously we want everything to be functional, so that's our first step, functional and strong. But beyond that, we try to look for little pieces of body line that we can play off from. So if we're going to cut a bumper, we want to make those cuts to make sense. Or if we're going to install a slider, we want where that slider stops and ends to make sense. So we always try to want to look at what the vehicle wants as far as our product design, and then our products all together we want to say, hey, that's a victory product, or that's a victory product, just based on the way that they look. So you'll see all of our stuff kind of has a certain angle or a certain feature, and we try to keep that happening across the product line.
Yeah, I think this is the last part of the build here. We've got an Alu-Cab Canopy camper that's going to go in the back of the truck. That's where we're at right now. Do some electrical stuff today, but this truck needs some weight in it right now. It's standing on its toes.
I'm so excited to see it done. I'm excited to see photos of it done, and then maybe we can go camping somewhere at some point here.
Oh, God, yeah, tell me about it. And we can take these masks off. So we'll let you get back to your Saturday, man. Thanks for checking in on us, and we'll holler at you later.
Hey, thanks, man. Talk to you later.
You can pull back.
Tell me up or down.
Give me a little bump down real quick. One more? Good.
You can hear the echo of a silent shop.
So we've got everything mounted on the board. I've got all the holes cut out, and no, it turned out pretty good. So we're just going to finish attaching the circuit breaker here, and then get started on the wiring in the back. Anyways, we got a couple bus bars we have to put in for your grounds, and we also have all the pieces for the solar. They're going to go in the back, the solar controller. So that's going to mount back here as well. So I know some of them we mount on the front, but we're going to mount this one in the back to keep it nice and clean. So there's a lot of wiring. It's a lot of things that got to connect and kind of interloop to each other. But when it's all said and done, you'll be able to control all of the camper, all these accessories, all the camper stuff from your circuit breaker board here. So you'll have like your cabin lights, all the solar chargers, everything.
Yeah.
It'll be from right there. Your fridges you can have from right here as well, and all your accessory ports as well too. So.
Well, sweet. Let's get the truck, drive the truck in here, and start mocking up the door, and we'll just keep on trucking with electrical panel. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
So what are these holes pre-drilled here for?
So there's a frame that goes in here that has the seal surface that the door is going to basically seal into, and then we'll bolt the upper to lower shells together and also rivet them, just so everything's super secure. Basically turning these into one piece now.
So Ren has equally the coolest tool. I don't know how much riveting you guys do, but this tool is riveting.
It's riveting. It's truly riveting.
What are you fucking off for on your cell phone? This isn't.
I'm looking at diagrams.
Oh, actually, he's working. We're getting close to being done with the Canopy camper. As you can see, it looks very nice on the back of the truck. Very happy with it so far. We've actually had a pretty good day working. I mean, we got our little workstation. It's been fun. Made some good progress today. I don't know if I've said it on camera yet or not, but the Tacoma's stilted up pretty high, and we just put, how much does a Canopy camper weigh? We put 600 pounds on there, and it squatted a ½ an inch. There it is. AJN's GP Factor, and he's got a whole series of products that we're going to be mounting in the back of the Alu-Cab Canopy camper rear door.
So the rear door of the Canopy camper, we have pretty much everything we can possibly do to it covered. We're going to be running 2 of our fold-down tables that fold up right into these pockets. We're going to run 2 of them here for your setup. And then above those, we're going to run the 2 MOLLE panels that we did. 2 of the MOLLE panels that we did, they're stainless MOLLE panels that allow us to kind of hard mount stuff. You can run MOLLE pouches or other things like we run the deemer box off that quick detach mount. And then we're going to flip the door over, or once we get it mounted up, and on the other side we're going to mount our MaxTrax mount.
Now I think it's going to be really cool to have the MOLLE panels up top, and maybe we can put you know, a first aid kit and a deemer box up there too. I think you could experiment with something like that. So Outer Limit Supply actually makes a quick release magnet system that we've tested.
It's wonderful.
On the MOLLE panels and on your Jeep, you've got that, right?
Yeah, it's a great setup. It's easy way to remove like your first aid kit, or in the case we've been using it for the deemer boxes, and it's just been wonderful. So we're going to start first with the. We'll probably get the tables mounted up first, and then we're going to drill some holes for the riv nuts for the MOLLE panels. We use riv nuts for the MOLLE panels so you can take them on and off to put your pouches on or remove gear if you want to. Okay. But the tables will get actually riveted on. So we'll get started with those.
Excellent. Let's do it.
All right. Yep, stainless rivets. It's all stainless in this thing. A couple pieces are zinc that we can't get in stainless, but we'll drill out the rivets and put one in and kind of go from there. We'll do one at a time just to make sure it's lined up.
Well, shit, son, I ain't getting any younger.
No, we gotta get going.
All right, I'm just gonna sink it.
Yeah,
we'll just work off that one.
Extend your hole there a little bit too.
Well, it turned out pretty good. Yep. I mean, we've got 2 tables installed, so we've got a really good working surface. And maybe if we had a big cutting board that was too big for one table, we'll just drop down both tables, and we've got, you know, plenty of space for cooking.
Yeah. Yep, MOLLE panel. So we wanted stainless so it matched the tables. It's clean, it's easy. There's no powder coating, nothing. The surface is obviously not going to rust. It's pretty durable. We did them pretty thick, and we did a tight MOLLE pattern because it allows you to attach other stuff to it. You know, whether it's quick detach mounts or roto packs or anything really. You can use it for just about whatever you want.
Yeah, awesome. And we have some insulated panels too, right?
Correct. Yep. And what's great about it is with the MOLLE panels is you can take the insulated panels and just kind of toss them in there, and then when you mount your MOLLE up, they're just going to stay contained and adds a little bit of extra insulation for your camper, which is great in the winter and also in the summer too. Being it's a black camper, it's going to take a lot of heat in, so the insulation will kind of help with maybe keeping the camper a little bit cooler.
Functional, and it's a nice touch too.
Absolutely. Yep.
Good deal. Well, let's get the riv nuts in and knock this door out.
Awesome.
Okay.
No, that's good. We just want to make sure we have enough room.
Okay, and then we'll just measure the other side. Welcome back, and we're just knocking out a couple routine things here to dress things up. We're going to be working on installing a Bantam, an S-Pod Bantam today, and running electrical wire to the camper, and then hooking up the goose gear electrical plate that AJ's worked diligently on. But come with me, we'll show you what the door of the Canopy camper ended up looking like. We got the door installed, and it's pretty straightforward. You've got 4 hinges, 4 very nice hinges here, and then you've got this nice track that you can actually put the nuts in, and then you put the button head Allen bolts in. Took a little bit to kind of level it out, but we had the door installed in like 30 minutes, so not a big deal. Here's the tables from GP Factor. Really nice. Up here we've got the MOLLE panels with the insulation units behind there. So yeah, super stoked about this. I mean, flawless design. We've even got a light up here, but like I said, we're gonna be focusing on electrical today, and we'll see where we get, and we're gonna do a snorkel too. So Bantam goes in there, and then we got a bunch of just electrical stuff to hook up. The winch is already hooked up to it. Yeah. I've been pushing wire through the firewall. I did a lot of that at home, and the clutch plug is capped out for wire, so I had to create a new hole, heat up a punch with butane torch and push through the firewall, created a nice plug hole for it. We'll put some RTV or maybe even a grommet around it, but That was for the sole purpose of pushing the cabling for the HD panel on the S-Pod Bantam. And I'm getting ready to mount that up right now. I've routed the wire through the firewall. I'm going to bring it up here and I'm going to use a Honda Garage mount with a ram ball. I'm going to put the SD panel right here. I don't want to junk up the T-PAM anymore. I like it the way it is right now. It's nice and clean. Ren has dedicated his morning to running our wire all the way back to the camper. And it's been about that eventful for him. And what he's doing right now is he's going to take and go ahead and drop the spare tire down. We're going to put an ST Max on a crust tone for a spare as well. We're probably going to do some modifications under there, maybe cut the exhaust pipe off. AJ's got a freaking, this is 2 days of wiring here for AJ.
Well, we are almost done with the board. Got a few more wires to do, but most of the stuff's hooked up that's on the board itself. So the rest of it, we can't do anything else until we get into the camper now.
Okay.
The wires for the camper that'll go into the circuit breaker board.
Okay.
And then the solar coming in here, and the main power coming in here. So we're almost there. Yeah.
Ben is on camera right now, so we'll give you kind of update. You may have seen this while Ren was working. He's taken the outer supply quick release backs that they used for their first aid kits and mounted them, and we did a DB1, a Bluetooth stereo speaker, waterproof Bluetooth stereo speaker as well. So everything's in a nice location, easy access for listening to music or a first aid kit. Anyway, yeah, that's where we're at, and we're gonna keep on trucking, and we'll check in with you later.
We are drilling our holes for the GP traction board mounts that we have, the latches that we make for traction boards. And we're gonna mount up MSO's Max Tracks here on the back of the tailgate. And it's super simple. The studs we have are actually Acme threaded 7/16 studs that we use. They're 4140 steel and they're nitrided for corrosion. And we're gonna put these on with 1/2 inch by 20 screws in the back and right through the door, and super secure. And then the Acme threaded stainless actual nut that's in there is what holds these on. So get them both started. And what's great about this door, because it's textured already too, is you can pretty much just cinch these things down and then you're good to go. Every kit that we send out, we'll send with a little just like pin pull, so you can secure one side, and then we leave the other side open for a lock. We recommend using like a padlock so you can lock up your traction boards. So, but that's it right there, all mounted, ready to go, and easy to get to. They're very accessible for when you need them on the trail. So
Ren has moved on from running power along the frame rail to the back of the camper. Now he's working on hooking up the Bantam, which we've kind of got installed, lightly installed already. In here to the cab of the truck, the S-Pod HD panel installed using a Honda Garage mount. Actually dressed up pretty nice. I just ran straight up the weather stripping here and slipped right out in this groove, and pretty solid, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Then we installed and ran antenna and power cable for a Wii Boost. This is the Fleet line. It's new, and it actually uses that small stubby antenna or a similar antenna that Midland uses for the radio. So the amplifier is here under the seat. We've got an antenna on the window back here, because this truck has Wi-Fi. And with this overhang that we have on it, we've kind of lost use of that antenna. So using the Wii Boost is going to amplify our service, give her better service, and reinstate the Wi-Fi service that we actually have in the truck. Power to the camper maybe within the next hour. And then we're going to be moving on to the Snorkel, and that should wrap things up. So back here on the back door is the GP Factor traction board mount. We went straight to the door instead of actually putting the spare tire on, because we were worried about some clearances and just generally putting a lot of extra weight on the back door. You could put a spare tire on there all day long if you want to, but we wanted to ensure that we had complete use of both of these MOLLE panels on the side. So we opted to leave the spare tire underneath But the traction boards here, because they're super easy to get to, you can spin them off, they're not on the roof and everybody's got to work to get them. I can get them when I want them right here. It's been a good run here again at OK Four Wheel Drive, working with Ren and AJ from GP Factory. We had Ben here with us. We're gonna get the truck aligned now. I think that's it. We didn't get the goose gear equipment here, so I'm gonna be finishing that install by myself at home and kind of taking you on that journey. But let's go get this truck aligned and get out of here. We're putting the rock ring on this. This is not a beadlock wheel, although they have a beadlock option. This is simply a rock ring to actually protect the outer rim of the Crestone, the AV Crestone wheel. And we got a snorkel to put on. We forgot about that this morning. We thought we were just gonna roll, do our beauty shots at the warehouse. I was thinking we could do this whole build in 6 days, but considering the time I spent at home, I think we're probably closer to like 10. And we've been taking our time. I mean, you can only push so hard when people are helping you out. And we've had a lot of fun. Made some good memories. All right, we are done with the snorkel. We've got the airbox and the air filter installed. I think what we're gonna do is put the Rayon Cyclone top on here. I think it's gonna look better too. And we'll get that set up here and we're gonna get this truck on the road. It's been a long haul, but we're back in West Virginia and tonight we're installing these goose gear boxes and drawers. Okay, here we are. This is the back of the Tacoma with the Alu-Cab Canopy camper on it. I went ahead and installed the goose gear base plate. 6 bolts here already anchored down and fastened to torque, and I've left the center bolt up against the bed exposed for now because I want to see how the fridges sit in there once we get the drawers in. And if we have to drill that hole a little bit later, we can. And it should be pretty smooth sailing from here. So let's size things up and see what it looks like. So this is the utility box. I'm going to show you the drawers here in just a few minutes. So before we get too far along here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up these Allen heads on these mounting plates so that they can move freely back and forth into the desired location on the base plate. Okay, now that these are freed up, I'm going to leave this one kind of where it's at right now because I feel like it might need to be in the center to provide the most strength. Okay, I have my holes drilled through the fender. You got to drill 2 holes through the fender, but I am going to anchor the bolts into the base plate and we're good to go. Now let's put a cabinet in. Okay, a step ladder is definitely helping to get inside this truck. Anyway, there are 8 holes with T-nuts on the back of them preset from goose gear. So I'm going to loosen the feet so they can slide back and forth freely. I'm going to size it up, I'm going to anchor it up, and then I'm going to use this little key slot here, which is adjustable from the back side, and use that to anchor the cabinets to the drawers. Okay, as you can probably see, I've taken the drawer out. There's 2 really nice metal release tabs that can easily let the drawer out and give you access to the feet that are down below. So I'm gonna size those up where they need to be, figure out how to get this key slot in here, anchor everything down, then we're done with the passenger side. Okay, the drawers are in, the utility box is in. The passenger side of this Canopy camper is complete with a goose gear utility box and drawers. Now we do the driver's side, and then we're gonna fit 2 Engel MT45s right here. Okay, we are in the last step of this 2020 Tacoma build project, and we're gonna be installing 2 Engel MT45 fridge freezers. Now that's a combined total 90 liters of fridge or freezer storage space, and we're gonna use every bit of it this year. This unit is an open unit, which allows you to create fridge or freezer space. And the other unit is a combination unit with a partition, which allows you to separate cold storage from freezer storage. So the first thing we're gonna do is install a couple transit bags on these to prolong the life of them while they're in the back of the truck, and then we're gonna anchor them down. Of all the things we've done on this build so far, this is probably about the most straightforward. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting the handles on the front and the back of the fridge to allow me to anchor it down. I've got one of the MT45s in here as a placeholder right now for one particular reason, and that's these tie down points. I'm gonna put one in the front and one in the back, and I need to see where I'm gonna locate them, and then I'll put the transit bag on there later. Okay, power's next. I've got 2 outlets. I'm not too sure where I'm gonna put them yet, but I'm just gonna hook them up to power, make sure we got power for now. I've got 4 straps to anchor to the front and the back of both fridges. So let's get the fridges in the truck, let's get them anchored down, and let's make sure we got power. Well, sometimes things don't go as planned. Whew, a little steamy here in the garage. I'm gonna have to take these transit bags off. I know the fridges will fit without them. Okay guys, it's a wrap. The fridges are in, tested all the circuits, everything's A-okay. Time to batten down the hatches and take this truck out on an adventure. Thanks for tuning in and watching this build of Mountain State Overland, and we'll catch you next time. Did you bring dinner?
No.
No?
I mean, liquid dinner.
Oh my goodness.